How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. There are some people very pissed off at Ledger, the company Ledger that has hardware storage or hardware devices for crypto cold storage. I want to talk about that, talk about whether it's time to take your crypto off right now, as some people are saying. Some people that don't even have ledgers are still pissed off. I also want to talk about some big things that are coming out about a company that I own and one that I've been buying up, and they just made some pretty big announcements. We also have to give ourselves a pat on the back. As you can see, the last year has been tough, obviously, in stocks and crypto, but a lot of companies are now trading for the highest level that they've traded at in 9 months to a year, some close to all-time highs. Google is at $119.51 today, was above 120 throughout the day, up 3% or so, 2% on the day. And this is the highest point that we've seen since midway through August. Microsoft, highest point in over a year. You have to go back to November of 2021 to see a higher closing price. Apple, the highest point, just about the highest point that it's been at in a year. And Amazon, the highest that's been since September. So if you've been buying into these tech stocks, congrats, because you're probably looking pretty good. A lot of these are up 50%, 60% from the bottom. So with that in mind, if you want to know why I'm buying and selling, I have bought a lot of these tech stocks over the last year. You can check out the link to the Patreon underneath the video. Now, also, if you don't mind hitting that subscribe button and turning on that bell notification, I appreciate that. Now, as I said, Ledger just released a new update for NanoX that allows social recovery of your seed phrase. Basically, it encrypts your seed phrase in 3 shards and sends it to different entities that can then reconstruct the seed for you post-ID verification. A lot of people are pissed off at this. Like everyone that I see on Twitter posting about it is really pissed off. This was something that they rolled out today. They kind of made a big deal of it. Now, a lot of people are pissed off because it's... For me, I know, even as someone that's in crypto all the time, it's really hard to tell what's possible, right? I'm not a hacker, I'm not a coder, so I don't know if there's a way around this, right? If you can get your seed phrase back when you lost it, that kind of defeats some of the purpose of said seed phrase. That's a big part of crypto, is that you can hold your own wallet, and if you lose that code, or if it gets destroyed, no one can take it. No one can take your crypto out. And for some people, that's a huge negative. For some people, that's really good. Some people would prefer that. That means that, people can't go in and steal or be able to run any kind of hacking and get your seed phrase, as opposed to, jumping into some exchange, or an exchange goes bankrupt or something, and then your crypto's taken away from you. Now, I'll be honest, I don't know if that's possible, if this lends people to be able to jump in and steal your crypto easier. I'm guessing not, but I think there is an important clarification point. This is another person that was pissed off at Ledger, and they said, and no, you can opt out is not a valid answer. However, Ledger actually replies to this and says Ledger Recover is an opt-in service, meaning nothing changes with how you use Ledger unless you decide to use Ledger Recover. So this is obviously a smart move by them. Basically, it just makes it so that it is more user-friendly for new users, maybe that want to have some of the decentralization, being away from exchanges, but aren't necessarily sure that they can take on the responsibility of having their own seed phrase. So I think overall, this is probably blown a little bit out of proportion. We don't really know what is capable here, if this actually does make it easier to hack in. I think whenever you add more complexity or ways to get crypto back, yes, it does make it a little bit more dangerous, but there are also people now that will lose their seed phrase that have access to it again down the line. So kind of a mixed bag there, but I wanted to cover that. Now, Tesla had their annual shareholder meeting, and it's actually happening while I'm recording this still, but there are a couple big things that have been teased and or released, explained. Tesla teases next-gen car. There are 2 new products I think you'll be excited about. Both the design and manufacturing techniques are head and shoulders above anything that is present in the industry, and they have this picture. Now, what could the other thing be? Well, they have semis, they have They have the Cybertruck coming out, obviously. So maybe it's this next gen car, the small car, and maybe a delivery van or something like that. There are a lot of possibilities there, but that would make sense to me. They also said that they will advertise. Meet Kevin said, why not advertise? And after a long preamble, Elon Musk said, we'll try advertising and see how it goes. So sounds like they may be pushing you to buy a Tesla or informing consumers a little bit more. I think that would be the best way of going about it. Just showing how cool their products actually are, I think would be pretty awesome, because a lot of people don't really know some of the great things about Tesla. Even when I talk to people now, because I have a Tesla, people are wondering about mileage. That's the number one thing. And after 10,000 miles, I've used a supercharger one time. A lot of people don't realize you don't really need them that often, because it's not like a gas station. You can just charge up. It's like fueling up your full tank at home every night. So there are a few times where you actually need to fill up. He says, Elon also said, my advice is don't look at the markets for the next 12 months. He does think there's a recession coming. If there's a dip, buy the dip. I think you will not be sorry, because there's an economic cycle to things. My guess, tough times for the year, but then Tesla will emerge stronger than ever. And you can see that from some of their last quarter highlights, right? Their energy business is growing. Their insurance business is growing. And at this point, we're at a 29 forward PE. And I think this could be much smaller. If we get right back to growing quickly, a couple of years where we don't have recession, where they just can continue to grow at this breakneck pace. I mean, revenue in 2020, let's look at 2020 was 31 billion. Last year, 81 billion. So over 2 years, they 2.5x their revenue. Huge increase in revenue there. So if we could do that again, think about that. Instead of 80 billion, imagine 200 billion. How much of that would be free cash flow? Just crazy to think about that. Now, of course, do your own due diligence. Thank you so much for watching. Hit subscribe and check out the links in case you want some free stocks from moomoo or Webull underneath the video. Check out the link to the Patreon.